Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Black Pharaohs, Sunken Treasures. This is another documentary. This is our fifth one in a row. This is from National Geographic, of course. It's 44 minutes. It's from 2018, and of course it deals with ancient buried tombs in Africa, but not necessarily the ones you think. Of course, Egypt is where we know all the big pyramids and the Sphinx and all these other things, King Tut and everything else. This is more in Sudan. This is where the ancient Nubian kingdom existed, and that's, of course, it means it's more black Africans who ruled over this area and over these spaces, and they've come to a point where these guys right here are picking up on work that had been done almost a century, more than a century ago, by another man who I've already forgotten his name, and it probably, to a certain degree, should be, but that's another thing altogether. He is quite the icon when it comes to unearthing a number of these sites and finding so much ancient treasure in history, but he was under the impression, and of course kept telling people, that certainly these people of dark skin couldn't have ever made such beautiful things, and it's they're lesser people, and they couldn't have ruled in this way. It had to be lighter skinned people. Seriously, it's just, there's a man who of a certain means who travels around the world and has access to so many different people, and of course he's still a racist. But yeah, I don't know. Either way, you get to see what these people do to discover, to dig around, and not just dig around, but go underwater, because some of these tombs are in a situation, this is why it's called Sunken Treasures, they have to go many stories, dozens of feet, maybe hundreds, not hundreds of feet, I don't know, a good distance underwater to come up into other areas that have been blocked off by water, and come into areas where they can find a breathing space, and also have the air pumped in from outside for them to be able to, still. I imagine the air in there might be fairly stale, but yeah, you get to talk to a number of people who discover a number of new things, and learn more about the people, and are genuinely surprised at some of the things they find. To get to know a little bit more about the history, it's not just Egypt with all the pyramids and all the different things. You see a number of structures and how they were deteriorated over time. Some that have existed more than 2,500 years before Christ. And it's some old stuff, and in this they even find some gold. So yeah, they just see gold laying everywhere. I mean, a lot of this stuff has been looted over the centuries. Like, not soon after these people died and were buried, there were people looting these graves, these tombs, and yeah, I'm surprised Lara Croft could find anything these days, or however many years she's been doing it. Gosh, it's been 30 years or something like that. She's been doing it a while. Anyway, yeah, that's all I can really say about this. It's if you're into this kind of stuff, doesn't really talk about mummies a whole lot, like they tend to do, but there are some mummy things. King Tut's name is dropped, but they talk about a lot of the sort of the warring factions in the era in which these people lived and thrived. The Kushites is what they're called, the Kush people, and yeah, there's a little bit of interesting history. It crosses over with some biblical history as well, if that's your thing. You get to see a little bit more, learn a little bit more about the culture that goes just beyond your standard Egypt stuff. So let's pick tomorrow's episode.
430.
430. Thank you. It took a while to spit that out. Okay, come on. Scroll. Dang it. Okay, we have gotten so many freaking documentaries. 5 in a row. And this is going to be 6. The great thing about this is that they've been very different from each other. We had Billie Eilish, which wasn't a documentary, but it was her concert film, and then it was behind the scenes that I included in that watch that I did. I talked about that as well. We've had children falling in a cave in Taiwan. We just had a lot of stuff. We had sharks, yes. We had all sorts of things. This one is completely different from all the others. It's a reality show. It's not a documentary, but it's a show that I think a lot of people have already watched. I might have even watched this once or twice, but honestly, it was just in passing. It was part of a thing. I used to have a job where I could just watch television all day whenever I wanted to on any channel as part of my work. So, yeah, I won't say where, but yeah, and I think I saw like a few minutes of each episode here. So I can't count this as me seeing this before. And by the way, this series has a number of different series on Disney Plus right now. I'm counting them all as one thing. In fact, it says various series because they have lots of spin-offs. You will recognize these guys more than likely if you watch any kind of cable reality. This is Storage Wars. Yeah. It's not Star Wars. Sounds close, but it's not. We're going to be watching, it's probably just down the list from Star Wars. Anyway, Storage Wars. We're going to watch the main series. There's, again, like I said, there's a lot of different spin-offs. I'm going to stick with the main original series. I'm going to watch one episode. I think I'll get the gist of it. If I'm really into it, maybe I'll watch a little bit of the spin-offs. I have a feeling that I'm not a big reality show person, but we'll see. So, Storage Wars is what we're going to see next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you then.